Holy Bat drama, this is the most entertaining Batwoman has ever been! Is it sad that the behind-the-scenes drama once again is more entertaining and interesting than anything that's happening on screen? Hello everyone, I am Mecca. I am a 90% parody consumer advocate. Parody something on YouTube. I mock and laugh at a lot of this stuff. I riff some of these. I do cooking and gaming and try and keep it more entertaining because our entertainment isn't entertaining.
Considering he was hip-checked by a 4,800-pound hunk of toxic masculinity.
And to catch everybody up, if you haven't been following this, there's a related video. This will recap some of it. Ruby Rose spoke out about being fired and or quit from Batwoman. Remember when they recast her, when they swore up and down they weren't going to, when they swore and she got injured on set, and she's calling out the production for not being safe. Oh, and of course Screen Rant also has some recap. Warner Brothers needs to fix their repeated failure to resolve claims of toxicity. This gets into the backstory of the Ruby Rose allegations about, you know, being fired very high profile-y. Like, talks a little bit about the Alec Baldwin stuff, talks a little bit about the Ray Fisher, Cyborg, Snyder, Justice League stuff that was going on. Talks about a lot of the history of these high-profile stars speaking out against these companies. Even getting into the Scarlett Johansson suing Disney for their back end. It's like they have to be champions for LGBTQ plus and women and diversity. Until it's
incredibly diverse.
A women or diversity or LGBT or a they them like Ruby Rose calling out Warner Brothers or anything really. Have you noticed that anytime somebody that all of these companies who virtue signal the loudest to protect
diversity,
and that goes with the anti-cancel culture people too. Some of those people virtue signal just as loud and are exactly the same. So keep that in mind when we're out there watching our entertainment. Because, like I said, I'm a 90% parody of a YouTube channel. I'm a consumer advocate. And I enjoy the drama of the behind-the-scenes stuff. I don't want anybody to be injured. But of course, Ruby Rose has alleged that they made her show up on set 10 days after having surgery for a stunt that they didn't know how to make her do safely, guilting her into saying, hey, we're gonna fire everybody if you don't show up. Just that type of behavior. So Screen Rant put out this sort of hit piece against Warner Brothers. However, there's a lot of people upset with Ruby Rose. Here we go from Insider. Batwoman crew member says, and thank you for being lined up, Ruby Rose was a dictator to work for, countering the actress's set complaints. So you have a few people saying, no, Ruby Rose is an absolute dictator. She wasn't in charge of the show, though, was she? Here's their bullet points. Production assistant says Rose is a dictator, even though she wasn't in charge or the showrunner or anything. She's just the actress. They counter claims made by Rose that the show's producers created a toxic work environment. And Warner Brothers also refuted her Rose's claims, saying she was fired due to multiple complaints. Her Roses. They probably had to change it because everybody's using they them pronouns for Ruby Rose now.
Proofread your shit!
A production assistant has countered her claims. Last week, Ruby Rose posted a series of Instagram statements on stories. Do they have links to this? Can we just pull this up real quick? That's just their link to the article. Well, we'll link you the video. Slamming the Batwoman producers, showrunners, and former Warner Brothers TV chief Peter Roth for working conditions that she said led to her departure from the show, including having to return to filming 10 days after this is after surgery. And there was a lot of other things that I had been covering as they were happening, and I was doing a lot of things like speculating, is this why they shut down production because of this injury? Is this why they canceled Comic-Con? Because she got injured? And I think I was right about a lot of that. The production company was professional, dialed in, and everyone was very fantastic. The crew was very lovely and dedicated. This is Baxter told. Who's Baxter? The production assistant. Alexander J. Baxter, who worked on season 1. The Ruby Rose is a real problem. Here's what you're going to tell the people you're trying to suck up to when you want a job. You're going to tell them that Ruby Rose sucked. Oh no, she's the problem. I agree with you, boss, 100%. She's the problem. And, you know, even to the point of
diversity.
Alfred on the show.
Products?
I see it.
Cameron Johnson saying a lot of lies were spread. According to Batwoman Cameron Johnson, who plays Luke Fox in the CW's flailing live-action adaptation of the DC Comics character, that's just a sloppy seconds or thirds or fourths now of Batman, let's be honest. The recent allegations of on-set mistreatment and unsafe work condition made by former series star Ruby Rose are nothing more than lies. So he has this tweet, Bat fam, you know I couldn't go the whole day without saying something. I love y'all, but don't think I haven't seen all the love today. But yeah fam, she was fired. And it is very hard to be fired when you're the lead. Imagine what you have to do for that to happen. I think probably, now that I've seen both sides of this, I think that, yeah, probably both sides were a little difficult to work with. She was probably like, and they were probably like, oh, you're gonna get back to work or you're gonna get all these people fired. Now, we do have TV fanatic Ruby Rose doubles down on allegations, and she's even threatening to sue Greg Berlanti. Ruby Rose is doubling down on her comments of a toxic workplace of the CW's Batwoman. The former KK. Are you guys annoyed that I call it Batwoman?
Pronouns.
It is the whammoniest show. It is just all about lesbians and whammon. It's kind of hilarious how bad the show is, but the former Kate Kane actress has shed more light on her time on set in the Arrowverse. She shared screenshots and emails she sent to her manager in February 2020. Holy crap. Rose has also said she was so close to being done with the series because of the atmosphere, the BS, the investigation and search. So they hired a PI to follow her around to make sure she was actually injured. Yeah, even though she was in the hospital having surgery. She further elaborated in a follow-up post. I meant walk today until I can get my breath, until I have a talk with SAG or Greg Berlanti and just everyone except maybe Carolyn to work the whole thing out. Another email shared was allegedly from Greg Berlanti, in which he had a positive response to her time on the show. The actress then made some more allegations about showrunner Carolyn Dryas. Off to bed, but deciding between releasing Carolyn's email about not being LGBT activist or feminist, but saying she could be one for other through the show. Be one for other through the show, Roger. So she's probably really upset and has a lot of typos here, or misspellings, or mistweets. Monetizing gays is how she found a desire to make people feel included. Or the email exchanges when I did leave, and the truth in all that form. All three of them, let me give them time to act privately, which is all I wanted. Remember how I always say, every time they put a LGBT or a woman or a character of representation or diversity,
He, him, they, them. I go with the flow.
some of us feel like, hey, you're just using me. You're just monetizing me for your own profit. You're just using me as a human shield, as a purse puppy, as a circus freak. You're using me as your token diversity.
Diversity.
Yes, there's subtext on being wanted to be used as the token producer diversity for a Whammon show on another channel, which I refused. Yeah, this is why I kind of relate quite a bit, because there's a lot of things I heard in very similar situations in my own life. And yeah, I got a little defensive and probably being quick to defend Ruby Rose. Rose also doubled down against her allegations on her former co-star. Oh, this one we skipped. We gotta bring this in. We gotta bring this in first. Dougray Scott, according to Ruby Rose, daddy issues, the guy who plays her father, has filed a $10 million lawsuit against her, according to Ruby Rose. And here's her response. Dougray, I have too many witnesses coming forward to you. Is he actually suing her? On October 21st, over a year after she's exited the CW series. Dougray, I have too many witnesses coming forward with worse than just your anger issues on set. But you're suing me for $10 million because Greg Berlanti shared his lawyer with you. Please, come first so I can use the money from that case to go on and take on Greg Berlanti. She wrote I'm just seeing it reported. Rose made accusations on social media, so this is all recap. I'm not seeing a statement from Dougray Scott. Following Warner Brothers' statement, here you go. Here we go, 5 days ago. Dougray Scott refutes Ruby Rose's defamatory abuse claims. Sorry for a million jump cuts in this There's a million articles that's all related. Everybody's pointing the finger. Everybody's going, he said, she said, they said, them said. And we have this much more entertaining drama than anything we see on screen. Why can't we just follow these people around? That would be a better show. Hey, Warner Brothers, I'd like to pitch a show where we just follow the cast around as they point fingers at each other and collect gossip. You know, who cares about what's on screen? I want to see how they bicker and snip at each other. And so, of course, yes, they're defending Dougray Scott following further social media allegations. Warner Brothers has stepped in to defend actor Dougray Scott. So to recap, to make a short story long, Ruby Rose yells about Warner Brothers being crappy to her. They fire back. The cast is now piling on her, and Daddy Issues is suing her, allegedly, for $10 million. Make a show on this, you'd have a hit. I am Mecca, and I'll see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!
Diversity.
In exchange